Trade Genius.
What's up, guys? Philip at Trade Genius. So on this video, I wanted to kind of update the Bitcoin price action, just kind of like what we've seen happen. We had a what we call our BART moves. We had a BART move down, consolidate, BART move back up, which is a really important move because no one was really feeling where the bottom was going to be with such a driven move down, really from 8,500. There was really no pause on the daily bars, and we got oversold. We got a 9-bar reversal, which is the sequential indicator. It counts how many bars are down without making a higher close within so many bars. So 9 is a typical reversal bar, and I'll show that to you as well. So technically speaking, we were due for a bounce, but now we're going to talk about what we need to see happen. And so we're going to go into that. The other thing I want to do is talk about why we might be seeing the possibility that we could rip 40 to 50% higher from here. And so why don't we dig into that? And before we do, real quick, just a reminder, if you guys want to see how we trade, our setups and stuff like that, head over to tradelikeagenius.com, and we have our specials running for a bit more, a couple days until these run out. And these are going to be focusing on the education side of things. So you get all of the lessons, and if you want to, you can also get into our room. So just keep that in mind. All right, so let's dig into the charts here. So this is our analog, okay, from 2014. I did a video on this, which I can link to at the end of this. Basically what it is it's taking a look at the 2014 analog, which is just comparing to, same price action, but in a different time period, which was back to 2014, and also a different rate of compression, because things are moving faster, right? As we get into this growth phase of Bitcoin, you're going to see things fractally move in tighter and tighter pullbacks, and tighter time frames. So in theory, we should start seeing less of a percentage of pullback after our parabolic blow off top. So in the past, we've seen like 80+% pullbacks from those blow off tops. We haven't hit that quite. I think we're at 70+% at the low point. So that would kind of fit into that model of, those starting to lessen after each blow off top. And then the blow off top cycle is becoming closer together. But what is falling in line with that model is the fact that if you take the 2014, which is this upper pane, and you look at it on the 4-day time scale, it really matches up really well. It's almost like first glance you're looking at the same chart. Now, when we were looking at it back in here, it was hard to tell for sure if we were going to see another dip lower. We did talk about that being a possibility before we ran up to what would be about 10K equivalent. And so we actually did see that. So now that some time has progressed from that video, we're seeing that match up. Now, here's what gets interesting, is that we've got, you move this forward, it would imply that we have some consolidation here, and then we just see just a march up. And then we had a little bit of a blow off back then, but that really put in the floor, and then we started moving higher. So this would be about probably the equivalent of what we'd see at like around 10K plus. It may even be that we run back into that 11,700 level, which was very dominant. We failed that hard, almost a double top here, and then rolled over. So maybe that's what we run up to. But we have some levels that we'd have to clear first to do that. Definitely the 8,800 is going to be a big one. You clear that, and then I think we can start talking about 10K, clear 10K, and then we can start talking about 11,700. So those are kind of the three levels I'd be looking at. If we look at our charts, though, that are our immediate, dig into the right chart here. So what we immediately want to see, let's go into the daily here. We're kind of sort of forming kind of an ugly head and shoulders. I'd like to see more. I like to see the head and shoulder stuff be more like this up here, where we have this shoulder here and a shoulder here, and this is like your head. That's more the way I like to see them. That didn't really pan out. Kind of sort of tried to, broke up, and then just rolled back over. now you have this kind of weird, the symmetry of this isn't really that ideal, but it could still pan out and we come back up here. What I wanted to look at though real quick for you guys is essentially what we're looking at here. Now, this move down here, this is where it's getting a little tricky, because if you look at when we were up here and we look at this bar here, okay, that bar was a major rejection by the bulls. This was rolling over, it was going to test this level, and then it got bought back up like a hammer. Normally you see that in a range like that, you're probably going to break higher. Okay, that didn't happen, and I'm going to say that the 200-day moving average probably eventually, you know, the resistance there gave way. That thing's been the kiss of death for this move. You know, it's been more important than trend line. So we definitely could come back up and test it again. I was expecting, honestly, to see something like this happen and come back up here. Not this just steady selling, which very, very rarely did you see this price action over the last few years down like that. But we are getting, this was a big volume here. And since we're seeing, or I should say this bar here, big volume on that bar, daily volume, and we're having pretty decent daily volume so far here. I don't know if we'll match, but so far it's putting in decent daily volume. We got about 2.5 more hours to go for that to finish off. But this move back up is pretty impressive. This level here of 6,400 was kind of key for me as far as holding, and so it broke and then it broke back above. So that's key. And the low here was 61.21. The low on this bar was 61.77. So we didn't quite eke out a newer low and make a swing failure. But I think closing back above the 6,400 would be key. And ultimately, guys, at this point, what we need to see is a close above 6,800. I do think we're probably going to run into resistance there. So if this thing has legs, I would be looking at the smaller time frame. If you guys are into swinging this, catching a pullback and then moving higher into 6,800. Okay, so but this is pretty bullish still here. We're actually now, you can see where we've kind of got like a head and shouldery thing going on. Not much pulled back or dip on the shoulders, but kind of the semblance of what the price action looks like with the head and shoulders. This here was our BART action here. So the BART head. And we haven't been seeing a whole lot of that lately, but apparently it's still around. But very bullish to erase the losses from here. So again, key is to regain 6,800, guys, on Bitcoin. So that's what we're seeing there. Again, because of the way that this is kind of tracking the 4-day 2014 chart, it looks like we have a potential that we could rip back up fairly quickly. You know how Bitcoin is, 2 weeks can make a world of difference in price, back into the 10,000 or higher. The other thing too, guys, is keep in mind, I'll show you one more thing on the daily chart and we'll wrap this up, is if you look at the sequential indicator. Okay, let's just let this load up. Okay, so you see here we had a 9 bar here, right? And that kind of killed it. Now we have a 9 bar reversal here. Last time we had a 9 bar reversal was here. And that came off, the lows. And we ripped 54% higher. So those things can be pretty powerful on a daily. And just keep that in mind. So just food for thought, guys. We are also, if you look, we have a descending wedge formation. And again, that's a technical analysis of when you get a descending wedge formation. You'll see that a lot of times that can be bullish if you break out of it. Also, if you don't touch, a lot of times when you see these things break out, they won't come back and retest the bottom side. They'll often do a turn in the middle and then come back up. So if we saw that happen, I think that'd be pretty bullish. But again, you're going to test this 200-day. So make no mistake, there are probably going to be some attempts at shorting the 200-day somewhere in this level here. So just keep an eye on that. But we'll update that as we progress forward. So that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I just wanted to give you kind of the Bitcoin recap, show you some technical reasons why we may be headed higher, and food for thought on that. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Please hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you on tomorrow's video. Take care. All right, bye.
trade genius.